What if I told you that sugar has very little to do with the actual reason your blood sugar is still elevated? Now, I realize it sounds weird because the majority of people have been told the straightforward explanation that eating too many carbohydrates is the cause of elevated blood sugar. On the surface, such answer seems clear-cut, rational, and like it should work. However, that explanation begins to disintegrate at that very instant. Someone reduces their intake of carbohydrates, eats less, and exercises more, yet their blood sugar levels remain abnormal when they wake up. I want you to hear this clearly if that describes you. You are reacting precisely as your body is intended to, and you are neither broken nor failing. It is simply being provided to you. The incorrect explanation. Let's correctly reframe this now. In actuality, high blood sugar is not a carbohydrate issue. It is better understood as a glucose traffic issue, which is typically caused by driving. By three simultaneous occurrences. Your muscles are not effectively absorbing glucose. Insulin signaling is compromised at the cellular level, and your liver is releasing more glucose than it should. Therefore, eliminating carbohydrates is not the aim. Fixing the system that manages them is the aim. Let's begin at the source. Carbohydrates do not produce insulin resistance. Fat buildup within your muscle and liver cells is the main cause, which scientists refer to as hepatic fat and intracellular fat. And until you realize this, everything seems perplexing because you're attempting to address the symptom rather than the underlying problem. Consider your cells as locks and insulin as a key because insulin appears when everything is operating as it should. The lock churns, allowing glucose to enter your cells from your bloodstream, where it may be utilized for energy, which gives the system a sense of control, predictability, and smoothness. However, it's like jamming gum into the lock mechanism when fat accumulates inside the cell. Insulin is still being made and the key is still present, but it is no longer turning correctly. We refer to this as insulin resistance. After then, a crucial change occurs. You grow resistant to carbohydrates, not because of them. Broke you, but only because your cells aren't able to react as they should. Therefore, when you consume carbohydrates, glucose enters your bloodstream precisely as it should, but it does not exit your body effectively, which causes your blood sugar to rise. Let's take it a step further, because this is the point at which the majority of individuals begin to understand what is truly going on within their bodies. Subcutaneous fat, which is not ideal but comparatively stable and intended for long-term preservation, is your body's secure location for storing fat. The issue starts. As more fat enters your body than it can safely store, that system is overloaded and begins to overflow into other areas. Ectopic fat, which is the fat that actively causes insulin resistance and isn't just lying there passively, was never intended to reside inside your liver and muscle cells. By creating signaling chemicals like diacid, glycerol, and ceramides that interfere with insulin signaling pathways, that fat actively disrupts your biology. Insulin now appears, but the message is not received. To put it simply, the signal is working while the system is attempting to block, and this clarifies something that many people find confusing. Because your body is working harder but not producing the desired outcome, you may have both high blood sugar and high insulin levels at the same time. Let's now relate this to your actual experience, as your numbers cease to feel random once you see this clearly. First, let's talk about muscle. After a meal, your skeletal muscle absorbs between 70 and 80% of the glucose, which indicates that the majority of the glucose from carbohydrates should go to your muscles. People argue that carbs induce blood sugar rises because fat-filled muscle cells cannot properly absorb the glucose, leaving it in your bloodstream. However, carbs are not the issue. It's the destination. Let's move this to your liver, where most individuals find things most confused, especially when fasting glucose enters the picture when you're sleeping. Glucose is released into your bloodstream by your liver. Your brain uses that as fuel, and it's normal. However, insulin is meant to control that process by instructing your liver on when to halt and when to slow down. Join our diabetes health community and take control of your health with confidence. By hitting subscribe and like, you'll receive daily, easy-to-follow health solutions focused on blood sugar control, healthy habits, and long-term wellness. Stay informed, stay empowered, and move toward a healthier, more balanced life. one smart step at a time. However, when fat builds up within liver cells, even if you performed everything correctly the day before, you may wake up with elevated blood sugar because that signal malfunctions and your liver releases glucose when it shouldn't. And because it seems like nothing is working, here is where irritation starts to grow. However, willpower has very little to do with what is happening overnight. Everything related to the physiology of the liver. Let's now discuss the initial cause of this. Because much counsel falls flat in this situation. A discrepancy between the amount of fat entering your bloodstream and the amount your body can digest causes ectopic fat buildup. Additionally, one of the most reliable causes of this process is fat, which is very easy to store and leaks into organs when that system is overworked. Is consuming a lot of saturated fat, particularly when it's paired with little exercise. It's crucial to note that this can occur more quickly than most people think. Increasing circulating fatty acids can cause insulin resistance quickly, not over years or decades, according to controlled metabolic research. And this is something that many people find surprising. Insulin resistance is a possibility. You won't gain a lot of weight because your internal physiology is changing, although your outward appearance might not. You now have more fat because persistent stress boosts cortisol, which increases the amount of fat released into the bloodstream and tells your liver to release more glucose. One may say, my diet is clean, but my numbers are worse, since more glucose is simultaneously entering your bloodstream and your cells. Because stress physiology is the missing variable. Hormonal changes are another layer that affects women since fat is more likely to go into visceral and ectopic storage as estrogen levels drop. Sensitivity to insulin. Not random physiology, once more. Let's now discuss one of the most common misconceptions. Directly. Insulin resistance is not brought on by carbohydrates. Normally, glucose is either stored as glycogen or used for energy. Large observational studies repeatedly demonstrate that consuming more whole fruit is linked to a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, and it is not automatically transformed into dangerous fat. Therefore, when carbohydrates appear to be problematic, you're actually witnessing insulin resistance-related glucose intolerance, not poisoning from carbohydrates. Here's where it gets hopeful. Carbohydrate tolerance returns when insulin sensitivity increases. This is something we repeatedly witness. People switch from eating high-carb, whole-food diets with stable blood sugar to avoiding rice, limiting potatoes, and being afraid of fruit. Their physiology altered, not the food. This is where things become complicated, so let's now discuss how to begin reversing this process. Actionable, and we'll begin with the lever that moves the fastest. Moving your body and churning your muscles into glucose vacuums is the first step. Because insulin is the very signal that is compromised, your muscles may remove glucose from your bloodstream when they contract without the requirement for insulin, which is extremely powerful. Movement therefore provides a side door, or second path, when the broken signal is not necessary for glucose to enter the cell. This explains why something as basic as walking after meals is so beneficial, and research indicates that quick walks after meals are more successful at lowering blood sugar than a longer walk taken at a later time, because glucose is being intercepted as it rises. Here's what to do then. After meals, take a 10 to 20-minute stroll. This is one of the easiest and most efficient ways to reduce blood sugar in real time, so do it consistently at a comfortable speed. Second, develop and utilize muscle. Boost your ability to store glucose. Insulin resistance does not only occur in muscles, it's also among the best. Because muscle functions as a metabolic sink, that is, the more muscle you have, the more glucose your body can remove from the bloodstream, and the more fat your body can burn, even the fat stored inside your cells, you must reverse it. Even in the absence of substantial weight reduction, resistance training increases insulin sensitivity. Because this isn't about making your body smaller. It involves altering the way your body uses fuel. There's one more factor that affects whether insulin resistance truly improves at its core, or if you're only treating its outward manifestations. Because muscle boosts your ability to store and utilize the glucose once it enters the bloodstream, movement allows the glucose to exit the bloodstream. However, neither of those gets rid of the fat, preventing the system from operating at all. This gets us to the third aspect of nutrition: alter the internal environment. Eliminate the fat that is obstructing insulin signaling, because avoiding glucose is not the objective, if fat within the cell is causing the interference. Creating an is the aim. Internal environment in which it is possible to minimize that fat. And this is where most strategies fail, since they attempt to regulate blood sugar by eliminating carbohydrates rather than enhancing the body's capacity to digest them. A low-fat, plant-based whole food approach functions differently because it increases fiber-rich whole foods that improve insulin sensitivity while decreasing the amount of fat entering the bloodstream rather than limiting glucose. Metabolic function, so you're reducing the amount of fat that enters muscle and liver cells while simultaneously enhancing insulin signaling and glucose management. This means that rather than adding more traffic to a clogged system, you're really removing the obstruction. This is the portion that initially seems contradictory because carbs momentarily elevate blood sugar more than anticipated when insulin is high. However, this does not imply that carbs are the issue. It indicates that the system managing them isn't yet operating correctly. Today, the objective is not to demonstrate that carbohydrates are safe. Restoring insulin sensitivity will help your body gradually become more tolerant of carbohydrates. And this is just what we repeatedly observe. People avoid grains, limit potatoes, and are terrified of fruit. Additionally, those same meals cease to be problematic when their insulin sensitivity increases. Their physiology altered, not the food. And if you're thinking, okay, but what does that actually look like in real life? What am I eating? How should my meals be organized? What does a typical day entail? This is where things start to make sense when you zoom out and look at all three of these at once. The door muscle is opened by movement, improves your storage capacity, and clears the obstruction with nourishment. Additionally, when all three are cooperating, the system begins to repair itself because the goal is to fix the system that regulates blood sugar, not to hack it. And something very significant occurs when that system resumes functioning. Blood sugar no longer feels erratic, and meals no longer seem dangerous. For the first time, you're not just responding to statistics, rather, you're comprehending the underlying cause of them due to insulin resistance. Is not arbitrary. It's not your fault, nor is it a failure. It is a physiological condition, and physiological states are subject to change. Please click like, subscribe, and share if this was helpful. Keep your A1C low and your carbohydrate intake high until the next time.